Morning, folks. This is Brian. We got to play RQG last night, and it was interesting. I actually had no idea how this would go at all, and what would happen, but I was really concerned at the end of the session. But I realized this morning I've got something in my back pocket to help with situations. So anyway, the party. Come the baboon with his whatever he's doing. The last session, Arestra had done a special parry against the baboon's staff sling. So I rolled for staff sling. It was a success, but she got a special parry. Off it goes. So the party, Arestra moves forward to the right. David follows parallel to the left. Everybody's just kind of watching to see what's going on. The baboon flips his staff sling around. It's got a spear at the other end, so he's got his short spear out. And he's taking a defensive stance. They know there's the snake behind him. And Arestra's trying to get a better look at the snake that she's doing. They get a little closer. In fact, Jarstakos moves up at a walk. He's just, going up there. And have them all make listen rolls. And Arestra made hers. You could hear that he was like chanting or something. Baboon was. On the second round, the basilisk hatches. It sees the snake. Snake dies. The baboon, giant baboon, spins around, grabs the corner of his cloak, scoops up the basilisk into it, and is trying to get away. David runs up. I think he was actually close to him at that point. That's probably that round. He's scooping up. David runs up and tries to interfere with him, whatever he's doing, trying to stop him from doing that. And, I envision, okay, he's scooping up in the cloak. Let's grab the cloak and pull it out, stop him from doing what he's doing. But that's not what David wanted to do. So there's some consternation on the player's part, and trying to get across to me his intent. I mean, his intent was stop him. Okay, how? What are you doing? What skill are we using, or mechanic are we using to represent this stopping him? So there was some consternation actually on both our parts. I was a little confused, going, okay, this is what I see. What do you want to do? And so he decides to go for a grapple. Go to grapple him, hold on to his leg, that kind of thing, and bind him up. And at that point, Arestra moves up, and I think she actually attacked. And then Jarstakos runs around to try to block out wherever he's trying to go. And the baboon is big and strong enough, even with David, holding on to him and trying to slow him down. He's going to move, 5 hexes forward. And I actually got them in range for Jarstakos, so everybody could attack. So David's also trying to, trip him up, using his legs. He wants to get a hold of him, using legs to tangle up the baboon's legs kind of deal. As we're discussing things, this is where, the common vision of what he's doing. So, let's still use him. Let's use grapple again. So, but he was not successful on that one. Arestra hits him, and I don't remember if it just didn't do enough damage or if the ward glanced it off or not. And poor Juchi's in the back, shooting twice around for like 3 rounds. All of them, I think all of them glanced off. I think he may have had one that actually hit. And it did like 1 point of damage. So, that pair is getting a bit frustrated as well. But when everybody gangs up, he drops his bow, picks up his lance, and charges. And technically, that would be the spear skill, not the lance skill, but whatever. Because he's not mounted, and it'd be hard to, I'm sure just one hand kind of thing. But what the IV, right? So anyway, everybody is swarming the poor baboon, and the baboon is, well, initially was just trying to get away, but with everybody here hacking on, there's nothing he can do. So he's going to go ahead and try casting to dominate that basilisk spell, right here, and figure out how many magic points that's going to take, and based on magic points, it's going to take almost 3 full melee rounds. So strike rank 10 of the 3rd round is when the spell is off, and he's just going to turtle up and hope that his defensive spells are enough to keep things safe for him. So, which reminds me, I forgot. Earlier on, Irvana cast a Dismiss Magic 2. So it's 4 points of Spirit Magic or 4 points of Sorcery, or 4 points of Strength, Sorcery Strength, or 2 points of Rune Magic. He doesn't have Rune Magic yet, although I was looking at his Rune Magic, but if he would have known the party was there, he could have prepped up better, which would have made things even worse. But anyway, so she casts that, and he's got Protection 5 up. It starts with defensive spells. The strongest one it can affect, the only thing it can affect, is his mobility, and mobility up. So mobility goes down. So there's a big discussion here about Mystic Vision that the sorcerer has, and Second Sight the shaman has, and power and the magic points of things. So after a bit of discussion, which, by the way, is a live play, where we're reading the spell, figuring out, trying to distinguish what's going on here. So David can see that a spell dropped. If he had been higher, then he should have been able to actually tell more about the spells. It isn't. And then there's some misunderstanding on the shaman's part on seeing power. He was talking about bringing his fetch to do spirit combat. Well, there's a discussion in the first place about spirit combat, about Miriam cannot initiate spirit combat, but her fetch can. Just to manifest it first, but it can do that. It's a spirit. It's a disembodied spirit. It can initiate spirit combat. So she was going to do it on the. She was trying to do something else, but she's trying to target the basilisk. Although they don't know it's a basilisk yet. But even after I described it in the beginning, because it was seen before. On the basilisk, but she can't see the basilisk. Even with second sight, the second sight gets blocked by things. It's not X-ray vision, right? It's, you can see power, so you can see his power and his power and her power and his power and his power and his power. That kind of thing. Okay, so Miriam ends up casting multi-spell 1, and is going to try. It is doing dual disruptions. Initially at the baboon, but then later on the basilisk. Okay, so little weapons aren't doing anything. The grapple stuff's not really helping. And the baboon's starting to cast his spell, and David, being a sorcerer, can understand what's going on. And he's casting a spell. Stop him! Stop him! Keep him from moving his hands, keep him from talking, that kind of thing. Again, what's the mechanic you're going to use to simulate you doing this? And we end up doing the grapple thing again. And while some of these things were successful, the baboon was able to maintain its concentration to keep the spell going for all these hits, except for when Arestra dropped her shield and hand axe and pulled out her great axe. Right on his arm. In fact, I think she even got a special. But that much damage goes right through the warding, goes right through the protection, and took his arm down to negative. I don't remember how much offhand. Not enough to amputate, obviously, but enough to disable it. And so the right arm drops down. That breaks his concentration. Something that's got him in the abdomen. Shoot, I remember who, but somebody got a critical success on his abdomen that round. So he collapses to the ground. He's lost his concentration. He cries out, no, and starts to roll away and starts to crawl. And that's when everybody sees the baby basilisk. Now, it was just born, so I should have probably modified all of its stats. I gave it a size of 1 to 3 size, right? So I gave it a size of 1. But I rolled for the power, and I rolled 2, which gives it a 14. I probably should have just made that 1 as well, which still is 13 power. That would have dropped its constitution. Strength would then be 2. Constitution would have been like 8. And its dexterity would have been 2, but it didn't bite at anybody anyway. Could have flown away though. Should just flown away. Everybody would have got that attack when people flee, you get that last chance to hit them kind of thing. That's probably what I should have done. I didn't think about it. Completely forgot about his flying. I was so concentrated on the stupid glance, right? No, but that would have dropped his hit points down, so he would have died on that first hit instead of the second. It took 2 hits to put it down. But that's 2 melee rounds, says doing glance. That's why I had everybody roll luck rolls until we were down to just one person would continue to miss all their luck rolls. And the first one was Juchi. So it looks at Juchi, made the glance roll, power versus power. Juchi didn't make a save. So Juchi collapses to the ground, unresponsive. I think it was at that point where everybody stopped worrying about the boom and started worrying about the basilisk. They did end up killing the baboon because everybody's around it and they're all trying to do something. I didn't worry about strike ranks. I just went across the board. Ron, what are you doing? Miriam, what are you doing? Okay, and say what you do, and then we do it just to get it over, kind of thing, right? Okay, second melee round, strike rank 1, and that was something that David's player was trying to fumble out because on a strike rank 1, magic is normally rune magic, and they're asking about effects of casting rune magic. Yeah, there are effects of casting rune magic, but this thing's not casting rune magic. It has an ability that is similar to rune magic. And it goes on the strike rank 1, and it's a glance, and okay, everybody make. Somebody did chop off its leg. That's what should have flown on for sure. That would have been the restaurant. So everyone makes luck rolls until we get down to the last one who continued to fail, and that was David. So make the glance roll, was successful, power versus power, missed the save. David collapsed to the ground, unresponsive. And it gets hit the second time, it's dead. And that's where we ended the session. The party with 2 dead party members. And I know Juchi, it was getting late, so Juchi, after his character went down, went ahead and signed off and talked about the new character. There's still options here. In fact, divine intervention. In fact, we forgot to do that with David. So let's start the next session with divine intervention with David. But he misses divine intervention. I'm getting saved. And I start stressing, okay, we got 2 dead characters. Stone Temple kind of owes them. And for some reason, the cost of people casting magic is really cheap here and in the rulebook. It's kind of surprised me. It costs you 500 lunars to learn how to increase your power by 1 point. It only costs 100, maybe 200 lunars. 200 lunars for a one-time spell casting on Sunday. I just don't get it. It just does not make sense to me. That should cost more. But anyway, so there's that option still, and they were talking about, okay, yeah, we're taking our bodies, that kind of thing. So, but I realize that this is the hero playing time is not casting here. So it doesn't matter how long it takes for them to get out. Once they leave the plane, it's going to take them a day to get to the temple. Maybe longer since they've got 2 bodies to carry. Oh, but they got the chariot. So yeah, talking about a day to the temple, and then they can do. I'm going to have to research Ronaldo spells. They should have access to resurrection in some way, form, or fashion. So that's kind of what's going back in my head. What may happen in the future, but they're still here, and they need to get out. And there's the tailed priest. Happy gaming, even if you're dead.